What's up, guys? As you can see, Mara was not able to join us on this episode with Jessica Danger. We had some technical difficulties we are figuring out on our end, but please enjoy my conversation with Jessica Danger. She is an amazing author, an amazing mom, and she gives us the insights into her journey through writing this memoir and becoming sober. Welcome to our next episode with an incredible guest, Jessica Danger. And I mean, you guys, Jessica Danger, that's just an epic name in general. I just have to say, Jessica is an author of No Heroic Measures, a memoir, and she's an assistant professor of English, the director of education at Dead Reckoning Collective, and the Joshua Tree Writers Retreat co-founder. We know Jessica by way of Stan Lake, who is an author of Toad in a Glass Jar. You can check out his episode number 19 from last year if you missed it. But Jessica, we're so happy to have you on Nosedive. Welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here. And thank you to Stan for extending the invitation. Just such a great guy. So shout out to
Shout out to Stan. Yeah, he was such a cool guest. And I second that. Just so cool that you can make connections like this through other people. So and I just wanted to start, I guess, with the fact that you're an author, a writer. So many people that I know and out there, just like the percentage of the population, share that same desire of wanting to write a book or become an author. I want to say the genre of memoir specifically can sometimes be a little sticky and a little controversial. So
thanks.
Yeah. So how did you tell us a little bit about that? Like, how did you find the courage to start? And we'll just start there.
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. Also, first and foremost, I teach a lot of classes. This is, creative writing is that's my day job and my side job and my passionate side gig. And I will always say, anytime someone says, "Oh, I should write a book," everyone always says, I'm like, yeah, you should actually. Like, I don't buy into the bullshit of like, I don't have anything to say, no one's going to want to hear it. Like, you have something to contribute. So I want to just make sure that that is like the primary foundation of everything that I'm going to say after that. I don't really, I have a hard time like identifying one concrete moment in time and space in which I decided like, yes, I'm going to be a writer. I just kind of always knew that. Even when I was a kid, I was just a voracious reader. And my family really leaned into that. My mom and my grandma and everyone was like, yeah, man, let's do it. Like my grandma was letting me read things I had no business reading as a child. I got like yes, thank you.
Embodied.
Oh, you know what? That is a high compliment. But yeah, so they just really encouraged it. My mom, both my parents, they were, my dad has passed on now, but they were both alive then. And when I was younger, they gave me a typewriter for Christmas when I was really young, and it was an electric typewriter. It was expensive. Like they really had to plan for that. And so I'm really grateful for that. But I always kind of was writing. How this book specifically came to be, the first thing I ever published actually was a poem about baseball, which like, thank God it died in the of the internet. And then I started, I thought I had to write story. I thought I had to be a short story writer. I thought in my mind that was like the only way to do it. When I was like in high school, anytime anyone asked me like what I wanted to do, I said that I wanted to move to the middle of nowhere in Maine and become a writer, because I love Stephen King, and also tells you a little bit about my social adeptness. That even then I was like, I want to be left alone with my books. But I eventually, how the book came to be is that I through a long, circuitous series of events, I decided I was going to go to an MFA program. And I submitted what is now the book to an MFA program. It's Bennington College. It's the best MFA program in it's highly ranked. It's very prestigious. Still am just like counting my lucky stars that I got in. Still very close with the program. But I submitted it as fiction and I got in. And it was like so thinly veiled. Like I made the main character's name Jennifer instead of Jessica. Um, and very quickly after my first term at Bennington, realized that I had made a mistake. And so I owned it to them immediately. I was like, look, I lied. And they were like, we know. I mean, it's like Googleable,
I know, right?
it's to
Yeah.
figure out. And it was really through their graciousness, and their like willingness to invest in me, that I was able to, to turn it around. And then we just hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Um, and it took forever. It took forever to get the book finished. It took forever to revise it. In the process of like finishing the first draft and picking up what will become the final draft, I got sober in that time frame, which thank God, because it would have been a totally different book had I not. So it's long. It's a long, long haul. And now it's about to be out in the world. It comes out in May.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited. So we'll definitely link everything to where everybody can order it. So I'm so stoked to be able to connect with you on that front too, because I feel like you can definitely connect with people on a much deeper level when yes, it's a memoir, but just reading something that's so intimate sometimes. So,
Oh, thank you.
and you mentioned too, this is something that I think is also beneficial just to our audience and sort of, the topics that we talk about with just numbing less too. You mentioned you became sober through this process. So,
Yeah.
and it was through writing the memoir, or were you thinking about becoming sober beforehand, or what does that look like?
Oh, geez. No, I can't say that I was thinking about becoming sober beforehand. Um, the memoir itself is called No Heroic Measures. It's out May 5th. It's coming out with Santa Fe Writers Project. It is, in essence, amongst many other things, a memoir of caring for my father while he died of alcoholism. We were estranged for a very long time before he went into hospice, almost a decade. We hadn't spoken to one another because he was so unwell physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually. Um, and then one day out of the blue, I was living this life that I thought I had left everything behind. I had moved, hadn't been talking to my dad. I had jumped several socioeconomic tiers. I was working, I thought we were done. There was like a old Jessica and there was a new Jessica. And that was so wrong. That was such a falsity. So,
Yeah.
um, one day out of nowhere, I got a phone call that my dad was dying and needed someone to take care of him. And so I did. And so that was the process of, that's really how, that book in a nutshell. But in the book is everything about, learning more about my dad and what made him the person he is. And also just, it's sometimes really difficult, at least for me, to identify where you might have a problem if the bar of marking that problem is like really low.
Yeah,
I was
totally.
like, I'm going to work. Like my kids are talking to me. I can pay my mortgage. I'm doing,
You're
I'm
functioning. Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Right.
And then I was really over functioning because we at the time had 3 children. I was teaching. I was an adjunct professor at the time. My husband at the time owned a number of small businesses that we were running. And on top of all that, I was taking care of my dad, who lived an hour away from me. Um, so it was just
Oh,
like skin of
an
my
hour
teeth.
away. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
So how often did you have to go out, like every single day? You're going out there in the morning and doing the
Yeah.
things and then coming back and then going back, or what did that look like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was almost because for the longest time, that I mean, I think I'm preaching to the choir when I say our health system is so flawed.
Mm,
It's criminally flawed. He fell into this like little gray area of like he hadn't worked in decades, so he didn't have any kind of, social umbrella to fall in. He wasn't old enough for any of the services that we would normally associate. He was living in a house that had almost literally been condemned 2 times.
mm,
There was nothing for him, and for a while we got him on social services, but we couldn't even manage that. That
yeah.
even that system was flawed, and so we didn't have any. There was no one else. Um, and I leaned heavily on my mom, despite being divorced from this man for eons, helped me so much. Um, Lots of other people helped him. We got there, but
Yeah.
all that to say, by the time my dad died and I didn't have anything, we were just plummeting. Um, I didn't know like what to do with all the time that I had available to myself now.
Right.
Um,
It was overwhelming in
yeah.
itself because before, like you said, it's like, it's
Mhm.
all, and we talk about that a lot too, is like the pendulum that swings in extremes. We have this
Mhm.
innate human sense to deal with life in very extreme ways. And so here
Yeah.
you are on this one extreme before having this sort of traumatic life event that's happening to
Mhm.
you. And now you're swinging to this other where you're like so overwhelmed with all of the things, but
Yeah.
also being a mom, a woman, a teacher, a caregiver, like
Yeah. Totally.
having to deal with all of those things, but also, I'm sure, wanting to still be happy and wanting to still find those things. But
Mhm.
just navigating all of those things can
Yeah.
be so difficult.
It really was. And I love that you said like to extremes, because that's when I started working out competitively. Um, y-
Ooh, competitively.
yes, like
Cross
I
is it
couldn't
CrossFit?
go to it
Uh,
originated in CrossFit, yes.
yeah.
And through CrossFit, I discovered weightlifting, and weightlifting was
Yes.
really like, okay, let's go. But
Oh my God. I just feel like we connected on like a
oh, really?
completely different level. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Cause
I
I
love
have a
when
background. Yeah. I have a background in sports, did CrossFit,
yeah,
competed in my first powerlifting competition in 2024. Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
I
Love it.
haven't been on a platform since 2020, but oh, good night, man. It has
Yeah.
been. We work out regularly at home. We have a full gym set up in our garage. It's the only thing. Well, and the laundry. It's a gym and the laundry.
Gym tan laundry. So how did that help? Did that also coincide with, so
Yeah.
this was, if this was 2020,
Mhm.
that was way before the sober journey?
Oh yeah. So no, I got sober in 2019. My dad
Okay.
died in 2013. So
Okay.
2013, my dad died. 2014, I started the writing program at Bennington Writing Seminars. Um, and then I didn't get sober until 2019. I started doing CrossFit in 2012. I know this is a lot of timelines, but really what I want to convey is that they all overlapped.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There's not like one point, it's like all
No.
meshes together.
Yeah. And what CrossFit did for me, which I know CrossFit is a totally different brand now than it was, when it originated. But
Right.
at the time I enjoyed it, and I I needed something that was like quantifiable for,
Yes.
and with my drinking and with my grief and everything that was going on, I just was like floating in this like dark abyss of like soul sapping. But when I would go to the gym, I'd be like, holy shit, I just did that. Like I did that, and
Yeah.
tracking, my numbers and things like that. It was so cool to see, like, this is a concrete thing that I can pour my energy into, that like there's no hidden denominator in this contract. If I do this, I get this result. And that was really the only area in my life at that time in which I had that.
Yeah.
And
Kind
so
of
I
the through line of
yeah,
like, or maybe not even a through line, but a grounding presence for
yeah,
you.
totally. Yeah.
Ugh. And it's so funny that you say the quantifiableness
Hmm.
of workouts and things like that, because I found something very similar in sober curiosity and finding the quantifiable data behind how much I was drinking.
Yeah, we love
Like once
numbers.
I saw it, I was like, ooh,
We love
shit.
being able to point to something and being like, that's it, it's right there.
Yeah, it's not just like a
Let me solve
feeling.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh man, I don't really drink that much. Or yeah, I actually kind of work out a good bit, but until you actually track those things to really
Yeah.
see, it
Yeah.
kind of gives you a different perspective into how your behaviors really
Mm,
are.
yeah. I mean, I knew by the time I really did get sober, and it took, I needed outside help to get sober, which is not everyone's story, and that's great.
Yeah.
Um, it's, there's a lot of, at the end of the day, there's a million ways to get there. This was just the way that I needed at that time. Um, but by the time I got there, I knew it was time. And the reason I needed help was because I had tried everything else. I had tried
Mm.
everything else.
What kinds of things did you try?
Oh, Lord, I read every self-help book. I chart data. I charted everything that I could so that I could control, if I just get this, then this will be okay. And if I get
Right.
this system, then I can show up to work on time and, not forget promises I made to my children that morning. And I can pay
Mm.
my bills on time. I can balance a check. And it never worked. I could have never did
Yeah.
any of it.
Right.
Oh, let's see. I did life coaching. I did therapy, big component, big proponent of therapy, go to therapy. But I was seeking therapy at that time for, you know, different
I mean,
reasons.
a lot of other, yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah.
You had a lot going on.
We love my therapist now. We love Pamela. Um,
Yeah. I know it becomes like another family member or something.
yes.
Yeah.
She's great. Um, so yeah, and I made every promise, I made every deal, I made every bargain, and none of them worked. And for me, I just had to absolutely really um admit to defeat, and just admit, like, this, I cannot do this. And in retrospect, I understand now that so much of it was, I mean, because when my dad died, not only did I have to like unpack the grief of losing a parent, I had to unpack the grief of losing a problematic parent who was unwell, who I had by choice estranged myself from,
Hmm.
and then tried to like earn him back by taking care of him. Like, what the
Gosh,
fuck?
what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah. I
Like,
mean, there's so many, even you just
cool. I'm just gonna
explaining
be drunk
that.
instead. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Talk about wanting to numb
Yeah.
all elements. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I totally resonate with that. Like,
Mhm.
how, how, what kind of steps? I mean, I think it probably all compounds. So to say that all of those things that maybe didn't work for you probably compounded into what finally did, kind of like your aha moment, or, navigating this just really intense wave of going from estranged, going to be the caregiver, and then also just grieving so many different aspects of yourself, of your relationships.
Yeah.
um so yeah, like, take us through maybe what that sort of looked like once things did sort of compound. Was there ever really, is it all just kind of a blur and you're like, how the fuck did I get here? Or
Some of it
how are you
is.
feeling?
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of it is. Um, and I am delicate about some of this just because my children are still so young and that's unfair to them. But a lot of it is still a blur, which I need to remember that. I'm the
Yeah.
type of person that I can talk myself into or out of anything. And for me, I need a daily reminder of like, oh, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
There's no way around this. There's no shortcuts here. You can't game the system. Um, I need to not be smarter than what I already know works for me. Um, I think also for me, and it's something that I've really worked on, like honing. Um, I've always been very intuitive, even since I was like very little. I didn't trust it though for the longest time because why would I? Like, look
Right.
where it got me.
Yes. Yes. I think we could all understand that and feel that. Yeah.
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 But now I can see it. Now I no longer have an intuition that baffles me. I know now that I can trust it. And so a
Hmm.
lot of it is just learning to trust myself, and learning to pay attention to when something feels off, or too challenging, or if my ego is really roaring front and center. I have to press pause, and that's really hard.
It's so hard. It's so hard. And I love what you said about not being, not being smarter than what you already know works for you. I think we're always, or at least in this time of instant gratification, of always looking for the shortcut or seeing or comparing ourselves to other people who seem to either have it all together or have all this success, and they think it's overnight when really they've been working on themselves or
Yeah,
working on a project or whatever the fuck it is
totally.
for decades or years or whatever it is, and they have found what works for
Right.
them. And I think people, and myself included, get frustrated sometimes with like, man, this isn't working, or someone told me to do this
Yeah.
thing. There's just so much advice and overwhelm
There's so
that
many
like,
things. Yeah.
so many
So
things,
many
and it's
things.
like, damn, that shit didn't work for me. What do you mean? But
Yeah.
I think it's a testament, like you said, to, it comes back to yourself, to the grounding to you and listening to yourself, which
Mm.
like is something that develops over time
Yeah.
and to get
Yes.
back to.
And it's not always comfortable. I think when
Yeah.
people, like when we talk about things like this, it's very like woo woo, which feels like it's nothing. It's just this cloudy, this shit is fucking hard to do.
Yeah.
This is
Yes.
so challenging. You got to really dig in there and be honest, and that doesn't always feel good. But now, I've been sober long enough now, and I've like I said, I've got a great therapist and all of these things, and um it does start to feel normal. So I guess I don't know if this resonates with anyone. My advice would just to be like to pay attention and to stay in that moment, and just see what happens. Like what happens if I fight that urge to respond to my boss immediately because I want to be perceived a particular way, you know? Like why do I keep saying yes to social engagements when I absolutely do not want to go? Why do I feel like I need to be there? You know, um, if one of my children are arguing with me and I want to immediately speak over them and argue back, well, why? Like, how can I be listening to this human that I love more than anything on the planet if I'm speaking over them to correct them when they're showing this like great moment of emotional bravery in their home where they feel safe with their mother who they love?
Mm.
What am I doing?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, man. How do you feel like that's maybe come out in your parenting, like through, because I am not a parent,
Mhm.
and I have done work to kind of reparent myself. So it sounds like you've also had to do very similar things. So how do you feel like that has maybe come out on your side of being a parent?
Oh, oh, everywhere. All it
Every, yeah.
squeezing out of every man, my children are great.
Yeah.
My husband, between the two of us, the husband in the book is no longer my husband. We got divorced, in all of that, to the surprise of no one who reads the book.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
He's still very involved. We have a great relationship. He's a wonderful father to both of our children. But now my husband now, he between both of us, we have 4 children. And so to this marriage, I brought a 28-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 16-year-old. And Keith brought a 9-year-old. And so I was very fortunate to be blessed with the girl after all those boys, which is so much
Different
fun.
dynamic. Yeah.
Oh, totally.
You're like, yes, some female energy.
Oh
Cool.
yeah. I mean, and she is like in it. It's so cute. She like plans her outfits the night
Yes.
before, and she loves a good accessory.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so much fun. But anyway, all that to say that we have a mixed, messy, blended, complicated family, like so many other people do. And so we've had to be very cognizant of that. I knew I was sober when we met, thank God.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would have been like, see you later. But we had to be very mindful of all of these things, like he has an ex, I have an ex, there's kids involved. Like we really wanted to be respectful, and intentional. And that's only because of all of this work we've both done. My husband is a gem of a human. He's like, I want to be as good as him when I grow up. Man, he's a gift.
Yeah.
And so I'm really fortunate that I have a partner now that not only like allows for that and encourages that, but participates in that. And so that's been really life-changing for me, like having that like safe, encouraging landing spot, like get out,
Yeah.
man. I
I'm
feel like
sure
I
it
can do
does
anything.
wonders for you just
Yeah.
as a person,
Yeah.
to have someone that you feel so safe with.
Mhm.
It does wonders. It's like fucking magic.
Yes. 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 It is.
You're
It's
like, oh, it exists.
yeah.
Yeah, I know magic exists in this world. Uh,
But yeah, all of the tools, excuse me, all of the tools that I've gained in sobriety are most constantly applied first and foremost to my family. And for that, I am eternally grateful. I'm constantly questioning my motivations. I'm constantly questioning my role in situations with them, constantly questioning, like, am I coming into this with an expectation, or am I coming into this with just like open hands to help, you know
yeah.
um, and I see my children doing that out in the world on their own. And I get these little glimpses from them all the time about just like just little things, like every morning I pack a second lunch for one of my children because their friend is going through life stuff. And
Mm,
I pack little joke cards in my kids' lunches every morning. And this child's friend likes the joke cards. So I'm like, easy, done. We're packing
yeah.
them lunches too. Because
Yeah.
they knew, oh, this will be a nice thing to do for someone else. And I know my mom will do it. And now that I'm sober and present, I know I can ask my mom. I know my mom will remember. I can count on my mom to care for me in this way. That's enough.
Oh,
I don't need to do
yeah.
anything else after that.
Yeah.
That's always enough.
It's such ripple effects too. I think that's just something that I'm hearing. And when I'm talking to people like yourself is, yes, there's a wellness aspect to you and your growth and what you're doing in this life, but it really is a ripple effect and it trickles down
Oh,
to people that you interact with, your children. You see that reflected back to you. So not only are you able to be present for them, but you're also setting an incredible example.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's like what you want is, or at least I would think if I had
Yeah.
kids. I have nephews, and my brother and my sister-in-law, I think, have done exceptionally well at parenting, and they're just two pretty good humans. And I'm like, okay, if I were to have kids, I would hope that they would just be like decent human
Good.
beings, you
Yeah.
know?
They usually come out just fine.
Yeah, right. Right. Oh my
One
gosh.
of the really cool things too, after the book, when we first got our ARCs, it was important. I wanted my children to read it before anybody else did. But I didn't want them to read it before I knew I was finished with it, because I didn't want that like emotional input.
Yeah.
Um, and that is like, man, I choke up even just thinking about it again. Like having my children read my book and engage in conversation with me about that. My 19-year-old son is a cook. He's so talented, and he's so just like lit up about it. And my dad cooked a lot, and so there's a lot in there
Huh.
about what he cooked, how he cooked it, things like that. um, my 19-year-old makes dinner for us one night a week. And one night after he finished reading the book, he mimicked one of my dad's recipes as a surprise for our dinner.
Oh,
And like,
shit.
I know,
Wow.
it was just,
How was that? Were you
I was
like,
shaking, I was
"Ugh."
crying, I was a
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
yeah,
my God.
I know. Bless
Whoa.
his little heart, man. Yeah.
What was the dish?
He made ham and split pea soup. Yeah, from scratch, and with no help from me. He just studied.
Yeah.
He read and reread the section of the book in which the soup was in. He like Googled a couple of recipes. He phoned a friend.
I know, for those of you who are old enough to remember, what was that show? How to be
Uh,
a million, or something becoming a millionaire. What is it? You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah,
Where you have to
and
phone a friend.
I'm remembering the charts on the bottom.
Yeah.
See their
Oh,
answers. So funny.
I'll have to look it up.
So just such a, and it really helped them because they never got to meet my dad. Um,
Mm,
my children never met him. My oldest son met him. Um, he knew him, but my younger children never met him. My husband never met him. I mean, he was not a part of our lives. And I would answer their questions, like, honestly, according to whatever age and emotional awareness they had at the time, but they didn't know. And it was important to me because there's a lot in there also about them,
yeah.
and I tried to really be um, fair to them. Um, and it was important to me that they felt it was fair and that they were comfortable with it, which they were, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so it was a wonderful experience with them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's writing a memoir can be, as we said at the beginning, tricky in a lot of different ways, but it's not just you and your perspective. There are
Right.
so many other,
So many, all of them, millions of
yeah, perspectives to consider, and you want to tell your point of view, but you also, yeah, you have to be considerate,
yeah.
I would imagine,
Yes.
to just other people's emotions and how they're gonna
Yeah.
take that.
I mean, it's hard. I can't, this is not my line. I cannot remember who. We'll have to Google it. It's not me. I'm
Yeah.
calling somebody else. They said the only person that should look like an asshole in your memoir is you. Like, it's not my job to make anybody else look like a total jerk, you know?
Mm,
Um, my job is to reflect this version of this story as I experienced it in a way that hopefully resonates on the page. That's my
right.
responsibility. We have to be accurate, we are responsible for adequate fact checking. And you know what? that was a lesson for me also. It's so difficult to fact check your life. And I was wrong about things. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah. How do you even do that? Do you get like multiple sources? Like, do you remember it this way or how do you do that?
Well, there were a gazillion drafts of this memoir before it got picked up, and so a lot of that was sorted out in that drafting.
Okay.
And yeah, I did. I researched a lot of it on my own. You know, Facebook,
Mm,
MySpace. Speaking of old
mm-hmm.
days,
Ooh, yeah.
my journals. You know, I'm always been a compulsive note taker, which serves us well. If anyone wants to be a writer, you got to pay attention and you got to find a way to remember those things.
Yeah.
Um, so I would go through old journals. You know, I still have all of his medical records, his estate stuff, his hospital notes, his calendars from his house.
Wow.
Um, which has already served me well because someone already said, you know, you got this part wrong. And I was like,
Oh, no, no,
hold,
no.
please. Yeah.
I have the receipts. So
It's timestamp. There's a date here.
there's a date.
Also. Um,
Wow.
but all that to say, I still didn't have it. You know, even editors need editors. And I was really fortunate that I had a great editor. His name's Adam Sergini. He's got a great book out right now. He was a gift and he was so generous with his time and his attention and asked a million questions, absolutely did not make me do anything I was uncomfortable doing, um, which is, you know, you hear stories of that all the time in this industry of like cutting things that were beloved or like adding things that you didn't want to add. And I didn't, you know, there were certain things I was not going to include. And he was like, that's fine. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Um, and then little things like I got the date wrong in one chapter because I referenced Beauty and the Beast coming out on VHS. And he was like, no, that came out in this year. And I was like, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You say so. Yeah.
Right.
So little things, you know, you're going to miss something.
Sure.
And even now in the final version, the final file, which is when it's done, it can't be changed, it's out in the world. Someone the other day was like, did you know? I'm like, ah, shit. I'm
Damn
like,
it.
okay, well, it's there.
Yeah, it is what it is. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, well, and is there, so, I mean, it's such a large undertaking, and it seems like it is something that is innate to you. You've been an avid reader and a writer for essentially, I would say, probably your whole existence. So, are there any kind of quirky things to get you in the mindset to write, or is it, or at least maybe in the earlier stages with writing the memoir, just your writing vibes in general? Is there anything that you do to kind of get in that mindset?
Yeah. Great question. Excuse me. It used to be totally different. When I was writing this book, it was literally just note taking, things like that. And then I I desperately wanted to make sense of it. Um, so I started taking everything I was feeling and everything I was noticing, and I started blogging, which,
Mm,
you know, this is how long it was. So had an ancient blog, and I really that's all I was doing with it was I just wanted to. The cool thing about memoir and personal essays is that you already have this thing which sometimes you don't always want. You know, it's this experience you never asked for or this life change that you didn't see coming. You already have it. It's there. You don't have any options. But what you can do is use the writing to okay, I was going to say like make it what you want, but
mm,
that doesn't feel right. What I think is a better way to represent it is that you can take this thing and work with it in a creative manner until you can own it and inhabit it. Like this is the beginning, this is the middle, this is the end. And that was really meaningful for me. So anyway, blogging. Um, Now, not so much. We have, I'm a full-time faculty member at a private college here where I live. Um, so during the school semester, I really do not get a lot of writing done anymore.
Yeah.
Um, when I do write, I have to I have to leave the house. Like, no one can interrupt me. I can't look around and see something that, the laundry needs to be folded. There's a dish on the counter.
Yes.
You know, I can't.
Distractions.
Yeah, my husband can. My husband can sit, and he's a poet, and he can sit in the middle of everything and just type away, be interrupted, and come right back to it. I'm like, how do you do
How the fuck do you do that? Yeah. I need like complete solitude also. I feel
that?
like
Yes. Yeah,
quiet, some music or something.
totally.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I can't even do music because I'll be thinking about the music. And then I need to, it just needs to be quiet. Sometimes, if I am writing at home, I've set some time apart. I'll move my stuff. I'll go sit at another place so I'm not at my desk. And one of my kids will come home and they'll be like, "Mom, it's so quiet. This is so weird." They're like whispering, in their own house.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh, get away
Ugh,
from
get away. I can't. No, I totally get the whole like the music thing too, because there'll definitely be some times where I am locked the fuck in and I will have something in the background that has lyrics in it. And even that, I'm like,
me. Goner.
nah,
Yeah,
nah,
yeah,
you're mixing with my words in my head. I can't do it.
it's true.
Ugh,
And you know what? There's great little residencies. That's part of why we started the Joshua Tree Writers Residency, is because Keith and I understand that you can't always get away. We are both working writers and we have small children and we have lives that we cannot just walk away from for 3 months.
right.
Um, so it was really important to us that we to offer that space back up. It's family and pet friendly, so you can come out for 1 week at a time with your children and or animal, or without them, or just the animal, or whatever, so that you can still try to get some of that creative work done without greatly disrupting all of the people that rely on you.
Yeah.
Like, we despite, I think, still the kind of common misconception that like writers just like work in this bubble only when they're inspired by this magic, and then poof, it's just done. Like, no, you have to like prioritize this, you have to plan this, you have to study your industry, you have to be really honest about like what you're making and the quality of what you're making. I mean, it's just like anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you feel like sometimes it's a little glamorized, like, oh, I'm a writer and I can blah blah blah, or do you feel like there's definitely some truth to that?
I mean, both. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it is maybe romanticized.
Mm,
Um, but I also think that that is like maybe a romanticization by someone who just enjoys writing, which is enough. That's
yeah.
enough. You just like it
Yeah.
done, versus someone who is aspiring to be a working writer. Um, I'm not sure that those are the same things. Maybe I'm wrong, but
No, I mean, I kind of like that distinction too. I think that it's encouraging for people to understand that you also don't have to become an author or really do in the terms of successful writer,
mhm,
of having a book or having something produced where you can just write and that
right.
makes you a writer.
Yeah, totally.
But tell me a little bit more about the retreat. So how often do you facilitate that? What does that look like?
So it is, we only have one person or couple or family unit in at a time. It's not huge. The house itself is not huge. The property is huge, which is
Gotcha.
great. Yeah. And it is juried. You have to apply. It's a $25 application fee. Um, and you have to supply references. We Because Keith and I really are the only ones that are working on it every day on our own. It's really not. I mean, it's like skin of our teeth. Like if you reach out on Instagram, it's us. It's
Yeah,
like all the social
right.
media manager, you know.
Yeah.
We had someone one time like ping us on Instagram and then email us and then follow back. Like I emailed forever ago. I was like, you did not though.
No,
Like
like, I would
only
know because it's
one
me.
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you apply with a writing sample and a couple of references. Um, and then the space is yours. We're very rural. We are 8 miles outside of Joshua. I mean, it's in Joshua Tree, but it's outside of like Joshua Tree proper, which is like the very tourist centric part of Joshua Tree. And I mean, it's a dirt road. It's real quiet. It's a dark sky
You
community.
want quiet. This
It's
is
there.
where that's where you gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds so lovely.
Excuse me. Yeah, we love it. It's not for everyone. It's not. We've
Yeah.
had some people look it up and then decide, you know what, it's not for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if you're not familiar with the desert, it is like it's like desert dark.
Yeah.
And it's quiet and sounds
There
carry
ain't nothing out there.
nothing. You're not like popping back into town for a quick cup of coffee. You're making it there.
Yeah.
Which we love. Keith and I love. But not for everybody. But yeah, it's just we're on Instagram at Joshua Tree Writers Retreat. We have a very minimal website, joshuatreewritersretreat.com. And you can reach out on either one of those sites for an application, and we'll just send it on over to you.
Yeah, we'll definitely link everything to where they can find you, order the book, do the Joshua Tree Retreat if that's something that you're interested in. And really before we wrap up too, I did want to touch upon just the Dead Reckoning
Oh yeah.
portion. So how did you get involved there? Dead Reckoning is so cool because that's of course how I found Stan, and just love it. Like just the whole vibe of Dead Reckoning and what they represent and veterans and everything like that. Cause my husband was in the military. So
Oh really? Was he?
yeah.
So Keith is the co-founder. It's Keith and Tyler Harris.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. I'm just making that,
Yeah.
just making that.
That's okay.
Okay.
We don't
Okay.
have the same, we don't use the same legal last names.
Yeah.
That's him.
That's your, yeah.
But yeah, Keith and Tyler were already doing this. It was already up and running. It was so super successful before I even met them. That's actually how Keith and I met, which is so cute because
Oh, that's such a great story. I love that.
I love it.
Yes.
Every time anyone asks us, like, how did you meet? And I'm like, on Instagram. Long story short, I had posted something about teaching. I've been teaching for 17 years now in August. And so I posted something about a student that was graduating, and how they had invited me to their graduation party. It was like a backyard cookout that their family was hosting, and teaching is just so special to me. I'm blown away constantly by the fact that I get to talk about books and talk about people that read books. I cannot believe that people pay me to do this. And so I posted it, and weeks later, someone reposted it, and it was like the closest I've ever become like being viral.
Yeah.
And Keith's Dead Reckoning was one of the people that reposted it. And so the next morning I was like reaching out to everyone, and Keith was like, we need someone. This is what we want to do with education. Like, would you be interested in talking with us about that? And I was like, yeah, man, totally. Like, my family's a military, my brother and sister-in-law were in the Air Force. I'm like, I would love to do this. I do a lot of work on writing about grief and writing about trauma and all of these things. So it lined up really naturally. And then we very quickly realized in the process of talking about teaching together that we want to do a lot of other things together.
Yes. Just that
married.
ignition. Yeah.
So
The power of writing.
Such a
Incredible. So the education too. So I know I've seen a couple things on there. You do, I know, monthly
yeah, yes.
topics and things that you can sign up to write on different topics and things like that. Is that something that you coordinate or?
Yes, to his credit, I just started this new the full-time faculty job in August.
Okay.
And Keith has totally 100% taken over the education for Dead Reckoning while I was like, I can't do this. I can't be
Yeah.
on tour and start this new job. And
I mean,
he's
good
like,
for you though, too, for
thank
saying
you.
like no to something,
Oh,
because that can be very difficult. Yeah. Yeah.
so I want to
Yeah.
do all of the things and I want to do them so
Yes.
well and I want everyone to know that I'm doing them so well.
Yes. Yes. God, I feel you there. So saying no, that's very powerful. So I
Yes.
commend you for that.
Thank you. And you know what? To his credit, he allowed, he encouraged me to say
Yeah.
no and then took that workload on for me. Like there's a big difference between saying no, thank you, and having someone somewhere in your orbit that will pick that up for you
Yes.
versus saying no, thank you. And then, well, 3 weeks later, you're still doing it, but now you're doing it tired and resentful.
Yes. 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 Exactly. Yeah. It comes back twofold to kind of bite you in the ass. No,
Yeah.
that's so nice to have someone who actually
Mhm.
it's a support system.
Totally. Yeah.
So,
But they
uh,
he has a great course schedule planned for the rest of the year. Starting in February, we have 2 classes a month. Last year we did 1 class a month. This year we have 2 classes a month. And even though Dead Reckoning Collective only publishes the work of veteran authors, our education branch is open to anyone. So anyone can take these classes. They're all held virtually. And they're wonderful. I'm teaching a class with another instructor on writing about addiction. We have journaling, intro to journaling. We have an intro to memoir, if that's interesting to anyone. We have a class on how to become a freelance journalist, how to pitch your work to magazines, uh,
wow.
how to set
Very
set.
in depth.
Oh
Like
yes,
our breadth of different topics. That's so
yes,
amazing. Yeah.
it really is, and it's so cool to have all these other people that are really passionate about what they're teaching come in and like light that up for somebody else in a way that you might not otherwise get.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, so many exciting things for 2026.
We
I
are
love
busy.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're busy. We're busy women.
we are.
So yeah, again, I just thank you, with that being said, for taking this time to talk with us and talk with Nosedive and talk to our audience, because
Oh,
I
it's
think
her.
your story is just very inspiring, and I hope that it inspires our audience to write more, to read more, to take that leap, to learn more about themselves.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope you guys have a wonderful week.